Hi everyone, hope you all had a wonderful week. In this week's report, is Lake Eucumbene still rising? I'll let you know. I'll tell you where the fish were biting. The Aurora Australis paid a visit on Wednesday night, and Pete was there to photograph it. I spotlight the region's famous thermal pool. Do you know where it is? There's the weather, lake visitor pics, and more. Lake Eucumbene was up another 0.2% this week to sit at 44%. This is 6.4% lower than it was this time last year. Lake Jindabyne rose 0.7%, while Tantangara Dam was up 0.1% this week. There were plenty of anglers out and about this week, but the weather wasn't kind, with gusty winds, rain, and even snow making for very tough conditions. Those who braved the weather, though, did catch some nice fish. Paul posted this pic of his good mate Stu, who landed this cracking 50cm brown on a Tassie Devil last Saturday morning. The pair fishing around crows. Paul adding they caught a few smaller browns as well. Thanks for posting, Paul. Paul and his good mate Robert spent some time on the water around Rushy's Bay last week, with a pair landing some big browns. Paul caught his two on one of Tony Bennett's mandatory lures called Mr. Pooh. Robert landing his on the old faithful frog pattern Tassie Devil. Great catches, and thanks for sharing with us, Paul. Now, I'm sorry in advance because I know I'm going to pronounce your names wrong, but father and son, Nomps and Novi, spent 3 great days together up at Buckandera. The pair trolling just in front of the Buckandera campgrounds, landing 8 fish in total over 3 sessions. Thanks for sharing a trip away with us, and judging by your big smiles, it looks like you had a fantastic time away and had heaps of fun. Hope you get back to the lake really soon. Tight lines. Matthew and Hannah spent a couple of great days up at Buckandera this week and caught some nice fish, all on worms. Matthew adding the trick was to use a light sinker to keep the worms moving around. Great catches, and thanks for the tip, Matthew. Charlie and crew had a very successful trip to Rushies during the week, landing 10 fish and releasing 4. The fish were all caught on power bait and worms. Charlie adding the weather turned poor with strong winds, heavy showers, and even snow. Charlie saying they saw this sheet of water coming from the clouds and heading their way across the lake. It arrived so quickly they didn't get back to the car in time and got soaked. Drenched and cold, but smiling and happy from a wonderful day. Nice to see another of Jim's favourite flies this week. Jim saying damselflies at this time of the year are always a good option at Eucumbene. Quite often the trout are foraging for them quite close to the bank, so stay out of the water and target them with a nice long leader of roughly 18 to 20 feet. This one is tied onto a size 12 hook. Thanks for the tip, Jim. Good mates Tiny and Julie Egan own and operate Serenity Cabin at Anglers Reach. It's a great base for fishing and exploring the beautiful snowies. The cabin is just 400 metres from the water's edge. It has 2 bedrooms with a double bed in each. Both rooms have an ensuite with full linen and towels. Serenity Cabin has a great kitchen, Wi-Fi, satellite TV, a barbecue, a fire pit, and even parking for your boat. The minimum stay is 2 nights. Here's Tiny.
Well, fishers, we've still got a couple of nights available in November. Get on it. Look at this. You could be here doing this. The Serenity.
The Aurora Australis made a visit across the southern states on Wednesday night, and our amazing high country photographer was there to capture it. Pete took this amazing pic at 8 p.m. from Old Accommodation, showing the sky lit up like a Christmas tree. This was Pete's first ever attempt at capturing the Aurora Australis from one of the best spots in Australia. And I'd say it's a pretty good first go, Pete. Thanks for sharing such a brilliant photo with us. This week I spotlight the wonderful Yarrangobilly thermal pool, which is located close to the well-known Yarrangobilly Caves in the northern end of the Kosciuszko National Park. I'm sure many people watching this video would have visited the pool over the years, and how good is that walk back up the hill to the car park? I remember occasionally going down to the pool after work at Selwyn Snow Resort when I was staying at Cabramatta, sitting in the nearby icy river for a few minutes and then running and jumping into the warm pool. Heaven. The pool has an interesting history. The natural spring was discovered by European explorers in the 18th century, with the first pool, made of wood, built by locals in 1896. The current concrete pool was constructed by prisoners from the Cooma Jail in 1969. The pool is fed by a natural spring which emerges from around 1 kilometre below the surface and maintains a constant temperature of approximately 27 degrees year-round. The main pool is 20 metres long and 2.5 metres deep. The pool water gently flows like a waterfall into a children's wading pool below. The pool is 978 metres above sea level and receives a snowfall or two most winters. In 2024, the pool underwent major works to greatly improve accessibility. These improvements include a new access ramp, in-pool seating, accessible walkways, and new shelters. These enhancements are designed to make the facilities even easier for people with mobility issues. The Yarrangobilly thermal pool is accessible via turning off the Snowy Mountains Highway. It's 23 kilometres from Cyanderra, 60 kilometres from Accommodation, 82 kilometres from Tumut, 111 kilometres from Cooma, and 173 kilometres from Canberra. The thermal pool at Yarrangobilly is a lovely part of the Snowies, and if you haven't been yet, why not take a trip up there this summer? A fairly settled week of weather ahead for Lake Eucumbene, with days averaging around 18 degrees and nights at 7 degrees. A few showers are possible on Monday and Friday, but only a few millimetres are expected over the next 7 days. Speaking of the weather, our friends from Buckanderra Holiday Village posted a wonderful video of Tuesday's surprise snowfall. As you can see, the snow was really coming down and settling well. It would have been awesome to have been there to see it. Now, while snow at this time of the year isn't overly common, it's not unusual. I've seen snow at Old Accommodation on Christmas morning back in 2009. Rodney also enjoyed Tuesday's surprise November snowfall at Buckanderra. Although Rodney didn't catch a fish this time, personally, I think seeing the snow would have made up for that. Thanks for sharing, Rodney. Glenn also experienced the snow at Buckanderra on Tuesday. Glenn and his mates needed to make a hasty return to the boat ramp as the storm rolled in around 10 a.m. Glenn adding it was a great afternoon for lunch at the Berridale pub with a few beers in front of the fire. Cheers to that, Glenn. Once again, Tiny showed his nature side this week. He took this great video of a local wombat on its morning stroll. I think the little fella's lost. The water's the other way. It sure is God's country, Tiny. We saw his snow video earlier in the report, but I couldn't go past this cool shot for Pick of the Week. It was Glenn outside the cabin at Buckanderra during Tuesday's snowfall. It's a cracker, Glenn, and thanks for sharing. And don't forget, if you've taken a great pic, why not post it to the Lake Eucumbene Facebook group, and you might see it here in a future report. I'm sure many watching this video can relate to this week's fishing meme. Sees a fish's shadow, fishes 6 more hours. I know I've been guilty of this many times over the years. Well, that's the report for this week. I hope you found it useful. As always, I'm happy to take on any feedback or suggestions. And don't forget, if you're looking for more information on Lake Eucumbene, check out the social media channels. There's the website, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And please don't forget to like and subscribe, and you'll be notified whenever I put new videos up. Have a great week, everyone. Stay safe, tight lines, and bye for now.